Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna finally start off my GMADE GOM kit. I'm really excited about this kit. I've been looking forward to building this. I just haven't had the time. So today I'm gonna be starting with step 1. Here you see I've just emptied the parts bag from bag A. Basically it was filled with the screws required for bag A, as well as some nuts, some of the gears, and some ball bearings. I've separated them out to make it easier for me to find the correct size screw while I'm going through the steps that require bag A. So this is what I do when I start building. I separated I've been spoiled by the MST kits where everything was nicely separated out beforehand, but with this kit they're all stuck in one bag, so kind of hard to find them when they're all mixed together, and this kind of helps me out. Before we start this build here, I'm just going to go through a few of the tools that I'll be using during this build. First of all, for the plastic parts that are on sprues, I'll be using these Tamiya side cutters. Really handy. They make nice flush cuts for plastic sprue parts. You can see here. See, nice and flush. I'll also be using MIP speed bits. Here I have these in order here. Basically I have whatever 1.5 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter, and 2 millimeter hex speed bits by MIP. These are pretty awesome. So they're really tough and they don't wear out on you. And I'll be mating them to my trusty DeWalt impact driver. I usually put it on setting number 3. So I don't over tighten the screws. It makes it really easy to build a kit like this with this many screws. It's also got a light so I can see what I'm doing. And I've also got various pliers, whatnot, that I just got from my local Daiso. I mean, nothing spectacular, but they do the job. So, and not last but not least, I've also got my precision screwdriver kit. So this is what I was using before I got my impact driver, but it's still useful for, you know, places where I don't need to use impact driver or where I can't use impact driver. It's got a flexible bit holder right there, so I can get around corners, and there's also a number of bits here that I can use while I'm building. Alright, let's get started. So in step 1 it looks like I'm gonna need a bevel gear, and I'm gonna need this guy right here. So in step 1 it says make 2, and it's because you got the front and rear axle, and that's what we're building here. So got 2 of these. We got 2 bevel gears, 2 E-rings, alright. Looks like I'm gonna have to open up the bearings after all. Alright. 2 of the larger size bearings. other smaller size bearings. And a 3x10 wrench bolt. So here I've got it organized, and it should be, I believe, this one. Yep. And there should be 8 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Alright, ready to begin. Yay. 1 down. Two down. Let's get the side cutters here. Oops. Let's see if we can get that to stay in there. Man. Alright, that thing's gonna keep falling out, so I'll put it in later. Just realized that I did not put this gear in, or ball bearing, sorry. And that's probably why it kept on coming out. There you go. It's a much better fit. Alright, we're done with step 1. I've got 2 of these. On to step number 2. Alright, so for this one we're going to need these 2 bevel gears. Alright, so 2 gaskets, 2 more of these large bearings. Actually 4. I'll put it in here so I don't lose them. Okay. Diff locker. To the diff case. One thing you do want to be aware of when you're putting these diff lockers in, you'll notice in the instructions here that it says the rounded edge of this tip right here has to face in the differential case. So the flat side should be facing up and the rounded edge should be facing in. Just so you can see it right there. That's the rounded edge. This is the flat side. So flat side up. Yep. And gasket. Bevel here. I think it might be easier to do it this way first. Put the gasket on the bevel gear first so the holes line up. And then have one of these bolts ready to go. Let's try 2 here. Might make it easier. There. That'll probably help me line it up a little bit better. And this would probably be using my 1.5 millimeter bit. Alright, there we go. Step 2 complete. Alright, in step 3 we're going to be kind of putting the axle together. I'm gonna have to grease up this bevel gear here and stick it into the case. Instead of using the gear grease that comes with the kit, I'll probably be using this, which is Versachem brake caliper grease. I kind of like this because it sticks to the gears nice. And let's just go ahead and put this in like so. Kind of spread it around a little bit. So like I said, this Versachem caliper grease has a good consistency. It tends to stick to the gears so it doesn't fly off during heavy rotation. Alright, now we're gonna have to tie that down with these bearing caps. They come on the sprues. Grab my side cutters here again. Cut them off. Now GMADE actually makes upgrade parts for these bearing caps. They have metal ones, and you can buy them, but they're kind of expensive, so we'll go with the kit plastic ones for now. Alright. Let's go ahead and do the same for the other ones before I put the case on or cover. Next, I'm putting these on. Back to the 1.5mm bit, and we'll start putting these diff covers on. Alright, we're done with step 3. Step 4, we're going to put the axle truss on. And that is also on a sprue. Go ahead and cut that off. Alright, looks like we're gonna need 4 of these guys, 2 of those, and 2 of these. There is, GMADE also makes an upgrade for this in metal, these axle trusses right here. So that is also an option part. Alright, switching over to my 2.5 bit. For the ends. There we go. Step 4 is now complete. Alright, in step 5, what you want to do is you want to first place the ball bearing inside the knuckle, or actually not the knuckle, the axle housing right here. Then you want to go ahead and attach the knuckle. Now you'll see on the spleen here, the directions tell you to line up this line on the knuckle into the middle of the spleen. So you want to make sure it's lined up in the middle right there. And the reason for that is if you'll see these 2 notches here, if you flip it around, these screws will go past these notches here. Go ahead and put that in. Put the shaft in. Alright. Then you've got 2 socket screws that you need to put in here. Directions tell you not to over tighten them, so I'm going to use my hand tool here, and they tell you to screw it in so that it's just flush. So that is what I'm going to do here. Okay, let's flush on that side. Do the same thing for the other side. There you go. And now just do the same thing for the other side. And that was step 6. Pretty simple. Step 7. What do we have here? Alright, step 7, we're gonna need a few more pieces. Knuckles. Alright, for step 7, you see in the instruction here, it calls for this bushing right here. These plastic bushings, and basically they're the bushings for the steering, the knuckle right here. Instead of using these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using these. These are the brass steering knuckle bushings. So go. Let's take a look there. Small bearing, big bearing, and axle shaft. There we go. Having just a little bit of trouble here with this bearing. Let's try that again. There you go. Alright. And we're done with step 7. Alright, we're on step 8, and with step 8 we need to attach these knuckles to the axle. See in the instructions here, it tells you to put O-rings here, and this is because we're using the dog bones. I don't think the CVDs require this. This is probably just to help the dog bones stay in place. So let's go ahead and attach this side. A little bit of snug fit there. Make sure the O-ring is good. Now, like I said, I have the brass bushings here, and it should help the durability. Now, put these screws in, and they say not to over tighten it, and that's just so that if you were using the plastic bushings, it wouldn't crush them, as well as leaving freedom of movement for the knuckle. So just tighten just a little bit there. Do the same thing on this side, and that's why I'm using the hand tools for this one. I don't want to over tighten it. Oops, my other dog bone just fell out. I'm gonna go pick that up as soon as I finish this one. There. And there we go. That is step 8. We've now got the knuckles attached. Moving on to step 9. So here we are going to add the link mounts to the axle. GMADE does make upgrade parts for these in metal. So that may be something that you want to look into in the future. You'll see here you got nylon lock nuts that are supposed to go into this link mount. I'm just trying to get this in there. There you go. I don't know if you can see that there. So, and here's the 3x18 screws that will attach the link mount to the axle. While I fasten it from this side. There you go, thread it in, I can go ahead and tighten. Alright, we have both link mounts on the front axle. And that concludes step 9. Step 10 here, we're going to be looking at the panhard mount. So you're going to need these two pieces here. 2 M3 nuts. And 2 3x12 screws. Yep. Those are it. Okay, so this good. This goes on this side of the axle. Alright, let's see how this works here. Looks like it just goes between the link mount and this C-hub. Alright, so this is the same deal here. The nut has a recessed hole where you can kind of put it in there. And you want to hold the other side while you screw it in. So I'm going to use my hand screwdriver just to get that started. Do the same thing for the other side. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, this part of the panhard mount probably lines up with the link mount hole right there. Let's just go ahead and tighten that up. That's done. So that's all of step 10 for as far as the panhard mount goes. And we go ahead and move along to the rear axle. Alright, we're on step 10 and we are on the rear axle. It's empty in there, and I wonder if they're going to make brass tubes to fit in here. They do make brass tubes for the GMADE sawback, and I wonder if they'll fit in this one as well. Oh, oops. That has to go in first. And that's it for step 11. Really short step. Step 12. You need 2 more bearings. And 2 more socket screws. Oops, don't want to lose that. Actually, 4. That's a familiar step. We've kind of done that before on the front axle. And the straight axle adapters. Put the bearing on. And the adapter on. Holes on the other side. So, see that little notch there? That notch right there should line up with these holes right there. So the screw is going to go through those 2 notches, so make sure you line it up correctly. Same thing goes for this side. Make sure you line them up correctly with the notches. Same deal for these. Do not over tighten them. Make sure they are tightened just till they are flush. Alright, that is all of step 12. Step 13, we are going to do what we did with the front axle, which is put the link mounts on. And again, GMADE does make upgrade kits, or an upgrade piece for this in metal. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and look into it. We're going to need 4 more of these and 4 more nuts. Oops, not this one. Alright, we are done with step 13, and that means we are also done with the rear axle. So, we are now finished with the axles, and that concludes part 1. Thanks for watching.